Growing up, I had a really good life. My mom was a single mom. It was an all-girl family, and my sisters and me and my mom, and just hang out like friends. We went camping almost every weekend. We'd hang out by the pool and go to the beach. My mom was my best friend. She was funny, hardworking. She would do anything for you if you needed it. She'd give you the shirt off her back, even if she didn't have it to give to you. When my mom lost her job and I was still in high school, it was hard because you always worry if you're gonna be okay the next day, so it stresses you out a lot. My mom was overweight, so she had a hard time with her blood pressure, but nothing that was really serious. We went camping for Mother's Day every year since we were born, so it was a big deal, and we were there hanging out, and that's when her foot started bothering her. So we went to the hospital, and they said that they thought she might have a blood infection in her lower leg, and they wanted to monitor her to make sure the infection would not go into her bloodstream, so they kept her overnight. And we ended up spending Mother's Day in the hospital, so we brought all her presents to the hospital and balloons. My mom passed away from a pulmonary embolism that developed in her sleep. They actually called me on the phone, and the nurse was just very blunt and said, you know, your mom passed away, what do you want to do?
I received a call from Brittney in the morning. She was hysterical, as she should be, and I told her I would be to the hospital within 30 minutes. Right then and there, I started getting resources in place for the girls, and then comforting the girls, but going back and forth between being the aunt and being somebody to get resources going for them, knowing what they needed and what was coming.
When my mom passed away, we only had $300 in our bank account, and she didn't have life insurance. We didn't have any money to bury her or to do anything, so the state had to pay for a cremation. And then I had to make a decision for my sisters, because they're minors, what I wanted to do at that point, and where I wanted to send the body, and how to write the obituary. And we lived in a house, the same house, since 2004 when we moved down here. My mom owed money on it. We had only a week to move out before they foreclosed. We had to leave everything.
We tried everything so they wouldn't lose their home, but they lost their home.
We moved to a small 2-bedroom apartment in St. Pete, only 15 minutes away from where we lived. Catholic Charities helped us get the apartment. They paid the first 3 months and then sent me to a financial advisor to do my budget to make sure I could afford it. So I work full-time and I go to school full-time, and I take care of my sisters full-time. And I work usually 8 to 5, and I go to school usually 6 to 10. I come home and I make sure they eat dinner and clean up, and I go to bed around 12 or 1, do it all over again. I'm getting a Bachelor of Science in Social Work, and then I'm gonna go right for my master's. I pay for school with loans, or I take a limited amount of classes, whatever I could afford. My dream for the future is to graduate college and help people who are in similar situations like me. I definitely want to have life insurance and afford my house and not struggle. I'm going to be the first one in my family to graduate college, so I always wanted to make my mom proud and do it for her. Financially, everyday life is still a struggle. We still haven't got back up on our feet. We still live paycheck to paycheck and make ends meet, but in the future I'm hopeful that we'll be okay.